My name is Sister Maria Regina, and I am a sister of life. I was born and raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school from kindergarten through 8th grade. My parents took us to Sunday Mass every weekend, but growing up, my faith did not mean much to me at all. We prayed as a family, but that's where it stopped. If you had asked me what I was, I would have said Catholic, but that was it. Didn't mean anything else. So then I went to high school, and I went to a very large, very public high school. It was a little bit of a culture shock coming from this small Catholic grade school. And the Lord stretched me in many ways in high school. We had our policeman at the door, drug busts in the bathroom weren't unusual, but I learned a lot at this in high school. And I think what struck me the most was seeing and experiencing the effects of our culture on my friends and my peers. So what I saw in them was a desire for happiness, a desire for love, a desire for joy, and they would seek to fulfill these desires in ways that were below their dignity. And they were buying into the lies that our culture tries to tell us about where our worth lies. So things like, your worth lies in the car that you drive, or the clothes that you wear, or the parties that you're going to. And so my friends would throw themselves into these lifestyles looking for love, looking for happiness, but ending up heartbroken because it was less than what the human heart is made for. And I would see this and I would think, there's gotta be more. There's gotta be a better answer to my own desires for love. And this is wrong that the culture is doing this to my friends, and there's gotta be something more. So it caused these questions to start arising in my own heart. What am I made for? How will I find love? Like, where is joy in life? And it was becoming increasingly clear to me that the answer was not in the culture and what the culture tries to tell us. But at that point, I still didn't make the connection with faith or the church or with Jesus. But these questions were floating in my heart. So then I got to college, and in college, I was blessed with these wonderful Catholic friends who kind of opened me up to a life of living the faith that was beautiful and full and rich and meaningful. They were fun, they were friendly, they were normal, and yet they had a personal relationship with Jesus. This was new to me, and I loved it. So they would invite me to daily Mass sometimes, and I started to go to confession more regularly, and just my heart was opening up to grace, kind of in silent, hidden ways, but the Lord was working in that, and I just experienced a lot of joy in that. And at that point, I had great desires to be a wife and mother. I wanted to get married and have a lot of kids. But I hadn't asked the Lord at that point. It was all just what I wanted, what I thought would make me happy. So halfway through college, I had the opportunity to go to World Youth Day in Sydney, Australia. And that was a deeply powerful, life-changing experience in many ways. But what struck me the most from World Youth Day was the young priests and religious that I met, especially the sisters. They were the happiest people I had ever met. They radiated this joy and this peace that kind of came out through their eyes and their hearts and their beings. And I thought, they have something that I don't have, and I want it. How do I get what they have? I didn't make the connection with prayer or anything like that, but I thought, they have something and I want it. So I got back to school for my third year, and when I returned to college, there was a restlessness in my heart. I was coming off of this experience in Sydney, and I felt like I was looking for something, but I didn't know what it was or where to go. At the same time, for the first time in my life, I experienced a really deep hunger for prayer in a way I'd never had before, especially prayer in the church in the presence of the Blessed Sacrament. It was almost like the experience of a magnet. I thought, Jesus in the tabernacle is drawing me like a magnet in a way that I had never experienced before. I had heard 1,000 times growing up what the Eucharist is, what we believe as Catholics, that Jesus is here, body and blood, soul and divinity. But that fall of my junior year, as I began to pray more in the church, it actually hit me. Like, what it actually is that Jesus is here in the Eucharist and that he loves me and he understands me and he knew my heart and he loved me where I was, as I was, with no kind of pretenses. And I didn't have to hide anything from him. And he wanted me to share my heart with him. He wanted to share his heart with me. And it was as though Jesus in the Eucharist set my heart on fire with his love. And it was a love that I knew, after experiencing this, I will never be satisfied with anything else. Like, this love that I have found has to be the meaning of my life. Like, it's the beginning and the end. It's this desire for more, that there's always more of it. And at the same time, it was a gentle love and a free love, a total invitation and freedom. But I knew that I had to follow this. It was this desire for love that I had to follow and that I was receiving. So at this point, I began to discern religious life, and I began to be open to a religious vocation, because I could see that my desires to be a spouse for Jesus wanted to fulfill in that way, to love me in a spousal way. But I still had questions in my heart about being a mother. You know, what about my desire for children, Lord? And at that time, he gave me a sense of the thirst in the world for spiritual motherhood. How many people need to be loved by a spiritual mother? And he gave me a desire to be that mother, to love beyond my own earthly family and love every child of his as though it were my own child. And I just had a great desire for that, and received the gift in that Jesus wants to fulfill every desire that I have. So as I began discerning different communities, I read the website of the Sisters of Life, and it was like everything on the website matched exactly what was in my heart. And I knew that I wanted, and that Jesus wanted me to love the world through this charism and this community. So the love and the joy and the peace and the freedom that I have experienced in this life that the Lord has given to me, I've come to know are not just for me, but are for every person, and that he desires you to experience that as well.